Hey everyone, I'm Gill Gross, host of Monday Match Analysis, home of the most in-depth ATP breakdowns on the internet. I want to talk about Denis Shapovalov, his first two matches of the season at the ATP Cup. The first one against Novak Djokovic, two-set win for Novak, and the latter match was against Alexander Zverev, the German, coming through in a third-set tiebreak. Shapovalov's a guy who I predicted to make the top 10 in my preseason top 10 prediction video just a couple of weeks ago. So little follow-up to that. I spent time watching both of these matches, so it'll give me a chance to cover them. Let's start with the Djokovic match. Novak looked good in this match. It was, vintage Novak, full flight pretty much. The movement, the court coverage, the spectacular defense, especially when he really locked in the biggest moments. Very few mistakes. Again, when it mattered most, you saw no mistakes. Good serving as well. The one part of his game that was a little bit lackluster, below average, was his first serve return. And in the same breath, Denis had a tremendous match on his first serve, painting lines. I thought that Djokovic had a very difficult time reading Denis's serve, which is a sign that his toss, which is something that Denis has worked on, his toss is not indicating where in the box he's looking to direct his serve. Novak was having so much trouble that he actually, I think, backed up to try to give himself more time because he wasn't getting a read on Denis's first serve. And that first serve by Shapovalov really carried him through most of the match. It brought him to 5-all in both sets. Ultimately, Denis lost 7-5, 7-5 because he made untimely, unforced errors, and Novak, again, played some fantastic defensive points in big moments, making Denis hit those extra shots, making a couple of clutch returns, and ultimately remaining mistake-free, error-free in those big 5-all games where you saw Djokovic's intensity just kind of lift up and he really clamped down and raised his level. So that was the story of the match. But all in all, why does Denis have so much trouble with Djokovic, other than the fact that Djokovic is Djokovic? It's because Shapo is still struggling with the nature of his shot selection. And that was the problem with, I know I just said he made errors, but the nature of the errors just kind of seem avoidable. Now, part of that has to do with Novak, but the two things are related. It's Shapovalov's shot selection, Djokovic's quality of trade. These two things in tandem have been a deadly combination when Novak and Shapovalov, it's been deadly for Shapovalov. The mindset of Denis when he's on the court is attack, 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 attack. That's how he plays. It's not a bad thing, right? But you need to be a little bit versatile and mentally agile when it comes to your shot selection, when it comes to playing opponents that are going to offer up different things, and Novak Djokovic is certainly one of those opponents. So let's just say in the mind of Denis Shapovalov, the attack-oriented mind of Denis Shapovalov, every time his opponent hits the ball, he's saying, yes, 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 yes. That's his original mindset. Yes, as in, I am going to attack this next shot, right? It's about, when do you switch to no? When do you, right? Some players are in a kind of a neutral mindset when it comes to shot selection. Some players are in a defensive mindset when it comes to shot selection. No, I'm not going to attack. No, I'm not going to attack. No. And then maybe they can kind of have their mind changed if they get a really short ball. That's the very opposite of Denis. But Denis he's a yes guy. He thinks every ball is his ball that he's about to go at, that he wants to go at. It almost seems like he's just not responding to Novak's quality of trade and the incredible depth that Djokovic gets on a consistent basis. Shapo needs to respond to the depth, right? This is, again, shot selection. It's a call and response. You are calculating the incoming ball. You are making that split-second decision. What is my intention based on the incoming ball? And when Djokovic hits his trades with great quality, great depth in particular, Shapovalov needs to make that adjustment. Shapovalov needs to say, okay, no, this is not a ball to attack. I need to wait. a couple extra shots until Novak gives me something to attack. So in general, I think what we see, the reason that Shapovalov makes a lot of errors against Novak, Novak coaxes those errors, is because Novak is not giving Shapo balls to attack, and Shapo is still looking to go big and take cuts on balls that are very difficult to take cuts off. So that's where you see the errors. A lot of balls that Shapovalov was trying to attack from neutral. I'll say neutral positions that were too difficult. The degree of difficulty was too high. And Djokovic is going to stay really solid and feel very comfortable playing within himself and winning a match that way. In fact, I think that's Novak's favorite way to win a match. You know, as soon as you start really forcing Novak to be the proactive player, and, you know, I actually think at this point in his career, the best way to beat Novak is to try to play Novak's game. But that's neither here nor there. I want to move on to the second match, Shapovalov against Zverev. Now, the big difference here, Shapovalov looked better. The first serve was still good. The second serve was a little bit worse, and that's been a concern for Shapo with the double faults. But I don't think Zverev played great in this match. I think that we always talk about the balance of offense and defense when it comes to Sasha. I thought, again, he was too passive, too defensive, and it's when I'm calling Zverev too passive, I'm not saying on a shot in, shot out basis. It's just sometimes it seems like before the point starts, he is committed to basically sitting back and dropping back behind the baseline and grinding. It's almost like it's a predetermined decision. So again, I don't think the shot selection was on point. And I thought a lot of his cross-court forehands were quite attackable. I don't think he was hitting his forehand with great conviction. I don't think his second serve return was impressive in this match at all. With that being said, he was really consistent. He did have some great grinding points. He did hit tremendous passing shots in big moments in this match. And he served pretty well. He's got the big first serve that he normally has, but also he actually went to the first serve as a second serve in a lot of big moments, and that was successful. And he didn't double fault all that much from what I saw. And that match, I didn't see every single shot of that match, but I did see the entire third set. And I think that the big difference here was Zverev gave Denis a lot more time on his side of the court. So Shapo, as a result, did not make as many errors in this match. Went to a third set tiebreak, and then we saw Zverev hit a double fault. Then we saw Shapovalov hit a first ball forehand error from the midcourt that was completely unforced and a complete gift, and then a double fault. And then Zverev just hit a bunch of bombs, a couple bombs, and that was it. And that's what can happen when you play Zverev, and anyone who serves as big as Zverev in a third set tiebreak. You make a couple of easy, loose mistakes, and you might not get a return in play. And Shapovalov's return, he's working on it. It's not particularly great. So he's also not really one to steal first serve return points and really, make any spectacular defensive first serve returns. So it was a tight match. The quality was not as good as the Djokovic match, but ultimately Shapovalov just, again, made untimely errors. So just to quickly address the question, the title of this video, is Shapovalov's 0-2 start concerning? I'm not overly concerned. I thought that there were some encouraging things. I think that his first serve looks really good. And honestly, I think that he can be a somewhat erratic offensive juggernaut because he's got so many amazing skills offensively. I think he can get away with that as long as his first serve is a consistent weapon. If you are going to be a very offensively minded player, you need to have the first serve to pair with that prototype, because if you don't have that and you're not getting free points and you're not getting easy first balls, you're going to be making a lot of errors in neutral rallies, because the more neutral rallies you get into, the more you're opening yourself up to make the errors that you are prone to. And I think that is the situation that Shapovalov is in. I think that's a tough matchup for him in both cases. Djokovic and Zverev are some of the players who are going to do the best job on tour absorbing Shapovalov's pace. So two really nightmarish matchups. Shapo fought very hard in both and, played relatively close matches, especially the Zverev ones in both. So I think it's actually a pretty good way to start Shapo's season. And I know they were both losses, but probably good experience. And I do think that he's going to have a season where I don't think he's shown that he can be consistent yet. And I think sometimes he's going to be bad, but I also think sometimes he's going to be great. And my mind is unchanged on that, just based off of these first two matches. All right, that'll do it. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter for everything, coverage, tennis, blah, 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 life. At Gill_Gross is the handle. Hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.